And everybody, hello, good afternoon. I'm Luo Ming from the History Department of the Peking University. About 17 years ago, I'm the visiting scholar at the Hoover Institution for 1 year. But I spent a lot of my time on writing down the Jiang Kaishi diary, so I have no chance to exercise my English. So this is for me first to give an English speech at the public. So sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. And the theme of my topic is the rethinking the history of World War II from a global history perspective. First, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the Carter Center of the United States and the Institute of the Contemporary China and World Studies. Today, we are honored to gather here at the USS Hornet, an aircraft carrier museum that carries profound historical memories to commemorate the glorious moment of the victory in the World Anti-Fascist War. Standing here, we are not merely reminiscing about the past, but engaging in a profound dialogue that transcends the time and space. Let us together pay a highest tribute to those who have martyrs who sacrificed their lives to defend human freedom and indignity, as well as those ancestors who suffered greatly in the flames of the war. World War II was not only a military confrontation between the great powers of Europe and America, but a global catastrophe that affected dozens of countries and the fates of millions of people. From perspective of global history, we should not only focus on the local battles in Europe or the Pacific, but should seek to understand the essence, development, and the consequence of a war through transnational, cross-regional, interactive network. Just now, Professor Wang shared a story of an American youth, Robert Shaw, who heroically sacrificed himself in the Battle of the Shanghai on January 28, 1932, a vivid example of a cross-national friendship and shared resistance. Next, I would like to share another more legendary chapter that reflects a global interconnectivity of the World War II. Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle's raid on Tokyo and unexpected strategic ripple effects it triggered worldwide. On April 18, 1942, history will forever remember this day. At noon on that day, 16 B-25 bombers commanded by Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle suddenly appeared over Japan's major cities, including Tokyo, Nagoya, and Kobe. Although the air raid caused limited material damage, destroying only a few buildings and resulting in the deaths of over 100 persons. Its psychological and strategic impact was tremendous. The surprise attack shattered the myth of Japan's invulnerability on its home soil, causing great shock and panic with Japan's political and military leadership. However, behind what seemed to be a direct confrontation between the United States and Japan, there was a complex web of China-US cooperation and strategic maneuvering. According to the initial US plans, after completing their missions, the bombers were fly to in Quzhou Airport in Zhejiang, China for refueling. The US government had negotiated with Chinese leadership under Chiang Kai-shek at that time. The Chinese government was fully engaged in supporting the British and American allies in the battle to reclaim Burma. Regarding the U.S. bombing mission, Jiang Kai-shek suggested to postpone it to late May to avoid interfering with China's strategic plans. However, U.S. Air Force representative Major General Henry Arnold didn't share the detailed plans with Jiang, had made it clear that the bombing mission would proceed scheduled. After learning that the bomber will take off from aircraft carriers and landed in China Zhejiang coastal airport to refuel, Jiang finally agreed to the U.S. report. On the day of the airstrike, Jiang recorded his mixed feelings in his diary. On one hand, he was pleased that Japan's homeland had been attacked. On the other hand, he was anxious about the American launching the raid the day earlier than planned, feeling that China wouldn't prepare in time for the landing signals. Jiang believed that after attack on Japan's homeland, Japan's military strategy and psychology would undergo a significant changes. To avoid a further attack on their homeland, Japan might choose to launch an offensive towards the Siberia of the Soviet Union, thereby easing the pressure on the British and the Chinese force in Burma. However, the Chinese government misjudged Japan's strategic intentions. The U.S. bombing did not prompt Japan to shift northward, but instead greatly inflamed Japan's military, intensifying its hostility and desire for revenge against China. On April 22nd, Japan's Air Command altered its military plan, ordering the Chinese expedition force to defend enemy in Zhejiang, destroy the key airbase, crush the enemy attempted to bomb on the homeland from the region. This led a brutal retaliatory campaigns in the southern China. The Zhejiang-Jiangxi campaign lasted for more than 3 months. And the heavy losses on the Chinese side, General Clary Li Shunaut recalled that the Japanese Air Force implemented 3 all policies, 山光政策. Yeah, okay. And the Japanese even flagrantly violated international law by using the chemical and biological weapons, bringing severe disasters to the local population. Also, the U.S. bombing of the Tokyo caused tremendous suffering for the Chinese people, but it significantly caused the cause of the World Anti-Fascist War. After attack on the Pearl Harbor, the Japanese aggression rapidly expanded throughout the Southeast Pacific, with the large fleet even threatening British rule in India. On April 7th, just 7 days before the Doolittle Raid, British Minister Winston Churchill urgently appealed to President Franklin Roosevelt, asking for U.S. Navy to launch a diversionary operation to force the Japanese Navy forces in Indian Ocean to return to the Pacific, thus abandoning their planned invasion of India. After Doolittle Raid, Japan's large fleet in the Indian Ocean was forced to return to defend its homeland. This set off a series of battles in the Pacific, and the Japan's fleet, overwhelmed temporarily, abandoned its plan to invade India. This British Navy gained a crucial opportunity to regroup. The positive significance of the United bombing was quickly recognized by the anti-fascist war worldwide. On April 19th, the Chinese Communist Party published editorial in its social newspaper, 解放日报, highly praising the U.S. Air Force expedition It stated the significance of the U.S. Air Force raid lies not only in the direct losses inflicted on the Japanese invaders, but also its blow it dealt to Japan's reckless ambitions. Predicate the U.S. Air Force would have more opportunity to deliver surprise attack on the Japanese. So from Doolittle Raid to the tremendous sacrifice made by Chinese people and the interconnected effects it had on the battles in Burma and the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, these interlinked events reminded us an important truth. We must go beyond traditional historical narratives that focus solely on Europe, the United States, or China, and reconsider the history of the World War II through the lens of global history. Reflect on history, not to perpetuate hatred, but to inspire all conspicuous people to cherish, uphold the design for peace. Only by learning from history can we better shape the future. Let us work together to write and understand our shared human history from a broader and more inclusive global perspective, contributing our wisdom and strength to the creation of a lasting peace and shared prosperity. Thank you, everyone.